All right. All right, everybody. Welcome back. Today we are doing part 2 of the LTVSIM throttle quadrant. Let me go back. I'm sorry, I was just going through my notes before. Or not my notes, but going through the papers before, which we're going to do this part today, which is the trim wheel. We should get to it, which is that modified trim wheel. All right. So this is the big one for a lot of people. I know a lot of people are struggling with this. I know I was at first. That's why I'm making these videos, because I'm trying to help everybody out to where, we can all, get this stuff built. Man, this stuff is so cool, and I'm so excited to use it. So when we read his notes, we need four 625 ZZ bearings, which that's what these are. Those are the smaller ones. And then you need 2 of the 6001 Z bearings, which are the big boys. And these are so big because you're going to fit plastic pieces in here and stuff in order to hold the 6mm, in order to hold your 6mm threaded rod. So let me move this out of the way. I don't think I'm going to need it today, but we'll find out. So for this, like he says, your bearings need to be flush with the outside wall, with the trim indicator wall. And then they can poke in on the inside, because you can tell that, because right here in this picture, I know these didn't print super great, but on the picture, which I'll show you on the real piece, on the picture, you can see this lip. Well, this lip is how the second wall attaches to the first wall, and it's also the same on the other side. It's just obviously, so this will be for the left side, and then this is the right side. That's how it goes. So they need to be flush with this outside wall, and the reason being is because you're going to have all of your gears over here, and your giant trim gear is going to sit over here, and if it's poking out, it's going to mess up the whole balance of everything. So he says to use hot glue, use a wet finger, and just rub around. Now these I super glued in, just because they were kind of getting on my nerves. They are free. I didn't get any glue in the bearing, so these are good to go. This big one, I did have all this hot glued in. I took it off so we could do this together. So for this one, you can just place it on a flat surface. Whoops. Which this isn't big enough, as you can see. But you can place it on a flat surface and get it through. Whoops, geez Louise, y'all. There it is. And you can get it through, but you got to make sure that it's flush on this side. So it has to sit flush over here. As flush as you can get it, right? Because, tolerances are going to be different, and also, sometimes it's kind of hard to hold. So, like he says to use hot glue and a damp finger to kind of rub around to get it as flat as possible, which is something I'll show you guys how to do, and then we'll go through and we'll start doing the gear work. So we'll get our walls ready. So we have the outer wall, the inner wall, or I think it's wall 1, 2, the middle is 3, and then the right sides are 4 and 5. So you can see where I've had hot glue on here. So for me, I have a portable, whoops, got glue all over this thing. I got a portable hot glue gun. This is what I'm going to use. Let me go ahead and get it started. I have it sit over my mat, so that way if it drips on the silicone mat, it ain't going to hurt nothing. I did upload a short a little while ago showing that I edited this wall. The cap, the only thing I changed was this hole right here. Instead of it being 5mm, it's going to fit a 4mm screw, which it's a little loose, so that's why I edited it, made it a little bit smaller. And then I also made a new reverser nut, or screw, here, I'll show you. See, I edited it to fit the 4mm, and then I made my own version of the screw. And the reason I did that is because I could not find an M5 by 3 heated insert. I couldn't find one no matter what I did. So the only way for me to get one, or to make this work a lot easier, was to make my own. So that's what I did. All right, my glue is dripping because this hot glue gun isn't the best. But it's also hot, right? So let's go ahead and let's get some glue around. And what I'm going to do is I'm just putting glue on all the way around the edge. I'm not too worried about this inside part with the glue, which is honestly probably the only spot I'm going to put it. But what oops, jeez. Of course, the glue gun's going to fall when I set it in its base. All right, so now what we're going to do before it solidifies, we're going to go to the other side and just gently push and make sure that it's flush with the outside. So right about right there. Yeah, I like that. So now we'll let that solidify. We're not going to touch it anymore. We'll let that one sit. Whoops, sorry, I keep hitting my head on here. I apologize. So we'll let this solidify. It takes a little bit for the glue to solidify. Now these smaller ones, these 625ZZs, they almost, see, they just almost lock in. So the best part about them is you just push them in, get them flush, which that one nailed it. And then there's that one. And then all you're going to do for these, at least for me, what I'm going to do, wipe my tip off, is I'm just going to put some glue in here. Whoops. Just kind of use the nose to move it around. And it's okay if you get it on the bearing on the middle and stuff. I'll show you. We're going to clean it up. I need to get another glue stick out. Stop tipping over. And we're gonna need to do this on all the walls, so we're gonna probably go through everything. Whoops, whoa. Problem with this hot, excuse me, this hot glue gun is it gets so hot. I really need it to not get as hot as it does, so it quits leaking so much. The reason I'm doing that, though, after I do that, is that way I'm not dragging strings. I mean, you can already see I've got strings all over the place. So this is a little messy, but it's just hot glue, so it's not like it's anything, you know, dangerous or, you know, bad for you and stuff. I mean, obviously I wouldn't eat it or anything, but it's not going to hurt nothing for us to just clean up these strings once it's dry. You just kind of roll them together like this. You just kind of keep rolling it. Almost like a ball of yarn, right? Throw it away. Throw it away. So we'll let that stuff cool. We'll place it up here out of the way. And we'll get our other 6001Z bearing and put it in here. Now for these, he doesn't say how it should sit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it flush on this back side as well. So I'm just going to have it, whoops, poking out on this side. Wipe my glue gun. And again, you can see when I'm first doing this, the bearing is not, sorry, I accidentally squeezed too hard. The bearing is not flush. I'm just holding it up just so I can have a surface to glue to, because while it's still hot, you can manipulate this bearing on the back side, which I'll show you. Oh, that one's actually pretty darn good. But actually, I need to come out just a little bit. But see, you can push just a little, as I got it on my finger. Try not to get it on your finger. Push just a little to get it to move. It's not, it doesn't need to move a lot. There we go. I think that looks good. I keep grabbing the glue with my finger, or touching it. So that's why you gotta be careful not to touch it. Just let it dry on its own until it's all the way cool. So that one's flush on the for the inside. That's how I'm doing it on this one. It's fine. Let's go ahead and get our other two walls, which they already have. I think I super glued all these in, which was not the best idea. But for this one, I did the inside as mostly flush versus the outside. Again, these inner ones don't matter. It's just these outside ones. So these ones I did super glue in. I shouldn't have. Ooh, that one's loose actually, so I'm going to put some hot glue on it. And I did the same for the big one. But as you can see, as long as they're smooth with the outside wall, we're okay. Let me go ahead and put some hot glue. Man, this thing just drips. Let me go ahead and put some hot glue in here, though, because that one was wanting to move. I'll go ahead and put some in here. It's okay to put it on there as a backup, you know, just so nothing moves. All right, let me turn this off because I'm tired of it making a mess. All right, so we'll let those dry. And we'll come back to this wall, these walls later, because these are the right side. Oh, and the way you know it's the right side is right here. This piece, this peg right here sticking off, that's where your 12-volt jack is going to sit. That's how you know that's the right side. Excuse me, versus the left side. I should have said that earlier. That's getting nice and cool. This one is as well. That one's nice and smooth. It's good. It's a little lip right there, but it should be okay. That shouldn't really affect us. So again, this doesn't have to be 100% perfect, which I guess we'll find out here in a second if it does, right? But I don't believe it does have to be 100% perfect. I've had this together already, and I've had hot glue, spread all over. Because when you're doing the first assembly, you're just trying to get it together. So for right now, what I'm doing is I'm going through, making sure my hot glue is off the middle piece of this bearing. Yep, there it goes. So now it can spin. I just want to make sure. The hot glue is not going to leak down in there like super glue will and get in your bearings. Those are all good. 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 Sorry if you can't see. Good. Good. Yeah, those are all good. So as long as they're all moving, we're good. Double check this one. It's nice and solid now. Oops, I was holding it on the other side. That is good though. And you can put some on the back side if you think it's necessary. I don't necessarily think it will be. I guess we'll find out. But I mean, hot glue holds pretty good. Especially, there's some types of hot glue out here, like I think Gorilla Glue and stuff, that is very, very strong. All right, so now we got that done. See, it is recommended us to use super glue as it may drip in the bearing. You can use super glue. If you do use super glue, just do like I did. Just do it on the very outside. Just very gently on the outside of all your bearings. I mean, you saw my right walls. Like right here, I could do it because I have these hot glued in. These ones are already super glued in. I could go ahead and do it. Just like I said, just do it on the outside and let it dry. Let it dry really well too. So now we're going to move on to the gears. Now this part can get really confusing because there's a lot going on and there's a lot of gears. So let me get my container of gears. Sorry if you hear that, my dryer just finished. So we need this big gear, which holds the hex nut. We need this other side of it, which holds the screw. We need one of these. We have multiples of all these gears. You need one of these gears, which is a 2-piece gear in one. We don't need this, but we will eventually need this. This is for the potentiometer, so I'm going to go ahead and set it up there with it. You will need one of these, which actually I'm not going to use that one. That one I used on the other side, so it's got the super glue burn marks, what I call it. So you do need this gear, which also holds a nut in it, but this is also for this main gear shaft is what I'm going to call it. This connects the sides together. So this will be one on one side, and you see one on the other side, and then they'll spin in unison. So that way your trim gears aren't out of sync. So you need that, and you need this. Let's see. We're also, I believe, going to need one of these. Sorry, we're going to go through this together. Look. Is not this one. Is it? Well, cause see the one of these I already have the nut. I accidentally cut it, but it's like forced in there. I think that was for this side. So these two, sorry. So this one and this one that holds the nut go together. These go together, one on each side. Same thing. See this one? Oh, wrong one. This one and this one go together on the right side. So, and then where? Okay, so we got that. We got that. I believe yes, we need one of these as well because this uses the M5 flathead. See what I'm saying? There's a lot going on here. So, I think that's it. We can bring this out and I'll show you what it's for. Well, we'll go ahead and put that on here. I'll just show you what it's for. See, and that's what I'm talking about for the gear for the jeez Louise, potentiometer. Goodness, I couldn't think of the name right off the top of my head. Oh, and on this side you also need the gear for the stepper motor. Sorry. Let's see. I think that's it for now for gears. If not, we have, the bin's always here. That's what I have it right there for. But I keep my bins separated as that's like the universal for both sides, and then I have the left and right side down here as well. So let's get these put together, shall we? So these are going to be the screws. Yeah, because this is my screw. I put this nut on here to hold the washers on. Whew, man, I can't even get it off. Where is... Here it is. There we go. Phew. That screw's a little funky. I might have to... Let's double check it. Why don't we? You do have to cut these as well. Just like you had to do for the levers, like you guys saw me doing, you have to cut these down as well. Let's see, there's something in there. There we go. Oh, what in the world is in there? Let me get this out. Oh, it might be that nylon. When I accidentally... See, that's why you don't cut stuff inside the... because it just... You get stuff like this where it just screws up. And as you can see, these go together because it's all cut together. I shouldn't have done that inside there, which is why that nut doesn't come out. So, let me show you how this goes, though. Jeez Louise. So I need an M5 flathead for this gear. We're going to start like this. So we're going to flip it over, and we're going to build it just like this. So this goes here. This goes here. And they... If I get the holes lined up, you'll see they should touch. Let me move my head in here for a second. Yeah. So those are lined up, so those do touch. We're not going to worry about this right now, or just yet. You need the bigger gear out here, and then this gear, which connects them together, goes right there on the other side of the wall. And this obviously is the sister to this, or brother, on the other side of the wall as well. So... let's get these in here, which you do use washers, which I'll show you. You use washers on every part of this. So, on both sides. For this one, wrong screw. I think it's this one. If anything, just make sure you have a bunch of washers with you. So, we'll take this one. We'll put the screw into the gear. Fits good. Put the washer on this side. put it through this very left one. So we're looking at the wall on the outside. This is how it should look, just like this. And we're going to the very left gear. We're going to push this through. We're going to put another washer on, which is again where my hot glue is getting in the way. And then we're going to attach a nut. It doesn't say to use a nylock nut, so you don't have to. I might have to trim my... Nope, I don't. I was about to say I might have to trim my hot glue. It doesn't look like it. So let me hold this on here. Let me get my Allen key. And we're going to go ahead and tighten this up. And make sure it spins, which it does. But the hot glue is kind of messing with it a little bit. You can see in there where it is. So what we'll do... Oh, nope, there it is. I have one out. We'll take a blade, take an X-Acto knife, hobby knife, and just run it in there. And try to slowly and gently just cut away the excess. Sorry if you're not seeing it on camera, I apologize. So we're just trying to get in here and cut away this excess hot glue. And then we'll take our pliers and get in there. Whoops. Try to get it picked out. See how it moves. Still a little stiff. Oh, I see. This whole piece right here came off, so we'll just go ahead and cut that completely off, just like that. And look at that. Now we're free. Free moving. Nothing's holding us up. So that's good. So that happens with the hot glue. That's why you got to be careful. That's why, like on this one, I'm going to have to really get this cleaned up, which I actually might just take this hot glue off. Let me get this cleaned up some. Which is this, that's also why I opted to use super glue on some of these, because then you don't have to worry about the hot glue sitting or interfering with what you're doing with your bearings and stuff, which I'll show you that. We'll just go ahead and do that. So again, for these, sheesh, I can't even get the hot glue open. Man. Or not the hot glue, geez Louise, the super glue. This super glue has seen better days. Whew. I need to find my new bottle. Let me cut the tip off of this, it's so bad. Sheesh, this tip is bad. I do see bubbles though. I'm going to be really careful now. But what you're going to do is you're literally just going to run it like this. Only on the outside. Don't get close. If you feel like you got too much on there, take you some towel. This is a shop towel, that's why it's blue. Excuse me, and just dab it up a little bit. But see, that glue's going to get in there in between the bearing and do its job of holding that in there. So let me go ahead, put my cap back on here. Hopefully it doesn't seal itself up again. But we'll take our pick, try to get this glue off. That's why, like I said, you got to be real careful with the hot glue, because I mean, it works, but there's a lot of what do they call it? Post-processing. There can be a lot of post-processing with it. You saw I'm not doing it on this other one because this works, so that's fine. It's not going to cause interference issues. We'll let that continue to soak in. These are already done. I'm not going to do it on the big one because this hot glue should be fine. If I have to, I can just kind of sand that down a little bit. But for these little gears, they're kind of a pain because they are so small. you know, with you just having just this little spot to work with. So that's why it's kind of just a pain to do it with these. These ones are a lot easier just to do the the super glue with. But again, what I would do is like I just did. Hot glue it in first to make sure it's flush, and then drop the glue in from the back side like this, to where you're not going to have issues with it. You know, you're overloading it or anything like that. Sorry, I'm trying to clean my tools up a little bit. Oop, jeez Louise. Just bonked my head. Whoa. Let me do this. Get it back. There we go. Take a sip of water real quick. Alright, let me fix that because I don't want my water bottle falling. Alright, let's get back to these walls. So now, oops, sorry. That was something underneath. So now, we're going to do this other gear, this smaller orange gear. Well, orange in the picture, but it's just this one right here. And the way you can tell is if you set it there and if over the hole and they line up, you're good to go. So, again, that's going to use one of these, which is a cut down screw as well. I'm not telling sizes. Well, here, I guess I can tell this one's size. And I'll get the brother of this one here in a second and tell you what its size is. If I have it up here. Thought I did. I'll have to look. Is it this one? No. I might have only cut the one. We'll see. But let me see. This one is now threads only length. About 13 millimeters. Maybe close to 13.5 millimeters long. And it's hard to give these sizes out because, you know, everybody's gonna have different hardware and stuff. Let's make sure that's dry. It is. And also, everybody's, you know, either gonna want to cut stuff down or not want to have to cut stuff down, so they might order stuff, like special made and everything. But if you're like me, you're gonna be cutting stuff down, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. You just use a Dremel or a hacksaw. Whoop, whoop. Let me get this on here. There we go. And you just get it cut out to what you need, to where it's flush or close to flush, and it's not. Oh, that's wrong. Is it? Yeah, I thought there was. Close to flush, to where it's going to do its job and not interfere. So now, see that? Nice and smooth. Now, he does say to put lubricant in here. I don't know, what kind of lubricant to put in here. I mean, he does talk about this for the tracks. What I mean by the tracks is up here. I don't know if this would be good for in between these gears, but it's definitely something to try. I mean, it does say it's good on plastic, so we'll definitely try it. We'll try it on video and stuff. Probably not this video, but we'll see. I might try it this video just to see, because I've never used it before. Because he says you don't want to have a lot of friction in here, which that's why I'm using. That's why you also use the washers on both sides, because it creates this gap that allows these to not rub the wall. But if they are rubbing the wall, you can, you know, use some of that to help out, or some different kind of grease to help out, or a dampening grease. So now we're going to move on to this, which uses a cut hex screw. So this was a 5x40. This is now a 5x26, 26 and a half. Okay. So we'll take it. Oops, I almost grabbed the wrong washer. Oh, not a washer yet. My bad. We'll put this. We'll put the bolt in. Then we'll put the washer. And again, the big side goes on this side of the wall. It goes on the outside. We'll push this through. He does have spots for grub screws. I'm telling you right now, I don't think you need it. At least I haven't. But who knows. And then we're going to take the smaller one with the nylock nut. There should be a nylock nut in yours. And then you can just do this by hand. So you literally just screw it on. Then you just use your hands. Oh, see, too tight. And there you go. And now it's nice. And it's in the nylon too, so it's not going to back itself out. This one is rubbing the wall a little bit. So it might back it out just a little bit more. It's still going to rub the wall. Even with the washer. So that's where we'll have to definitely put some lubricant to prevent that from rubbing too raw. Hopefully. I don't see why it's rubbing. Just because there's play in there with the screw and stuff. It's just part of it. It's not going to be 100% perfect. There we go. Now we're going to put this on. Now for this gear, which holds the connecting rod to the other side, I just used a 5mm button head with a nylock nut. And you can use any screw for this because it really doesn't matter. What you're going to do is just place this on here with a washer on this side. See that, how it meshes on here? Oops, I forgot to put the washer, my bad. Put another washer on here, then put this gear on here. And it's kind of hard to do with one hand, but you're going to have to, is try to get this nut down in here with one hand. Just let me try my tweezers. I'm going to try to get it through the middle like that. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There we go. And now you got to find a finger, so I can use my right hand ring finger to push down. And then start it with your left hand. Sorry. So hold it with whatever finger, pinky or whatever, inside this this gear. And then start tightening it with your left hand. And then once it's in, you're good, because you can just use your Allen key to tighten it down. Just like that. You don't need to do anything crazy. It's going to be in the nylon. Doing good. And it is rubbing as well. Let me just loosen it just a little bit to give it a little bit more room. There we go. And so how this connects, I'll show you. Whoops. Hold on. Here it is. So I'll show you this preemptively, but we're going to go over it. So this piece, which is sized perfectly for the 6mm all thread that goes all the way through, it sits in here. Then this, you will put this piece in, which is from chapter 11. Let me bring it up. I'll just go, this is chapter 11. I'll bring it up now though, because we're going to talk about this, because this is something that he added. So he shows it like this. So this is how it's going to be built. You're going to take this, stick it in here, and he has 4 grub screw holes on here, so you can hit either one, any of them, but you only need 2, because you're going to thread it through there and through here. Through the gear, and through here. So you just line this up with 2 of the holes. You'll put your grub screw in. It'll hold this in. This will be held, because it does go through. I'll show you. Well, here, you know what we'll do? We'll put this in here now. I'm going to take 2, we're going to try it, 2 M3x6 grub screws. And we're going to put this together real quick. Just that way you guys can see, because I know this is very confusing. You're like, how in the world do I get this to go together? I know this was a huge question the other day on the A320SIM Facebook. So having a video of it should help. So we're going to put this through. We're going to make sure. I'm going to keep screwing it through with this, with this loose. Because I want to see when it starts coming out. Might actually put a 10 in here. Okay, so now it's about even. So now I'm going to move this up until I'm pretty sure I'm lined up with the hole. Because it's okay, because what you're going to do is, is when you get this in here, cheese and crackers, you know what I mean? Start tightening it, and you'll know if you're in. There we go, see? Now I'm in the hole. So we're going to screw it in a little bit more. Trying to see, make sure it's catching. It did. So now it caught this inner piece as well. But one thing you want to make sure of is that you can put this in and out still. It's, you know, just to make sure it's not going to move. But let's look at this. Let me see. The Grub screw is 6 millimeters. I want to see, we might need to use a 10. I want to see how much this is grabbing. So it's about right where I have it. Oops, that's pretty good. Let's see if a 10 would do better. We'll try it on the other side and then we'll go from there. So let me grab, sorry, I have stuff all over out here for making all these videos. I'm trying to just keep us all, you know, going with our home projects. All right, let's get some M3 by 10s, which I know this, don't look at that sheet, that thing is wrong. So, because these all just fell apart. You know, the post office just whips it around the vehicle out here. Oh, let me move these. No, those are M3s. I don't need those right now. All right, so let's go. So we got one in here on this side. So now we'll go to the exact opposite side and thread through. And these are, ooh, are these 10 or these? This is huge. Hold on a minute. Is this a 10? Yeah, it is. All right. Whew, sucker looks big. Looks a lot bigger than a 10, doesn't it? All right, let's see. So I have one over here, so we're going to go to the direct opposite side, which is right here. Get this one in here. This one just makes me feel a little bit more comfortable, I would say, than using the 6 because of how, you know, big these pieces are and how much plastic there is. You want more grip in the plastic. So let's get it in, which it's already hidden, so that's good. Oh, and then it's poking out, so back it up. Let's see. Back it up just a little bit. Oh yeah, see, and it sticks out all the way right there. Yeah, I'm going to replace this side with a 10. So I would do M3 by 10s in here, at least on the gear side with it. Just because it just gives you more grip in the plastic, less chance of it breaking or, you know, breaking the plastic or spinning loose or anything, or this inner piece getting stripped out because the screw isn't holding on to this part enough. So it's just more of a, it's just more of a security thing, and just gives me peace of mind. I'll tell you that. But here, I'll show you what I mean, though, about how this all goes together and what he means. So we'll get this in. And the best part is this one, with it in, it just, basically, it's hidden underneath the surface just a little bit. And then it's already in, but it's not going to affect the gears at all because it's in there. So, this goes like this. This is built now. It sits on here like this. Hold on, let me get my M6 rod. And this is how it will work. Whoop, hold on, I pushed up on that. And this is how it'll work. Just like this. And you see this gear over here? See this one? This is why you only have, like right here is where, not on this wall, but this is where the gear for the stepper motor will sit through. See, just like this, which is kind of floppy because I'm holding it, but this is how it'll work. And it'll spin all these gears. And then you'll use this piece to go to the other side and tie them together so they move in sync. But you see how that works with this piece? And now, let me move this out of the way. So this, whoops, hold on. So this piece will attach to your trim wheel. So this goes through, let me show you, oh, right here. So I don't have a bearing for it, but what this is going to do, this is going to go through here, through a bearing, and it just goes through enough, and it will go into, I believe it's this one, just like this. Hold on, I'm going to try to hold it up. So just like this, and this will sit on top. Obviously, it's not going to sit in there. This will sit on top of, there we go, line that up. That will sit on through the bearing. On top of the bearing is where that'll sit. And then you will have, what's it called? Oh, well, also you have to use your little thin washer. Whoops. Your thin washer. Here, let me go grab a bearing real quick for this. It uses one of the big bearings, the 6001. So let me grab these. And we'll kind of mock this up because I have my trim wheels over here as well. They're halfway painted is what I'll call them. Because they're not black, they're just white. So I still have to do, oops, I dropped it on the ground. It's okay though. Paint is strong. So, I'm just trying to show you guys this because this is a part a lot of people get stuck at. So, I'm trying to show you this so you can see. So we got our big old thing of bearings. Always have extra, that's why I always buy more than I need. But this will sit in here. This is a very tight fit, by the way. Let's see if I can get this in here at all. Whew. I might have to sand the plastic out just a little bit. All right, let me get some sandpaper. I have some up here. Let me sand in here for a second. So just little modifications like this. Just a little bit of sandpaper in here to get it to where it'll fit that bearing. I want that bearing snug in here though. But obviously I don't want it to where I'd have to like hammer it in. Let's see if that did anything. Oh! I thought it went in for a second. I was like, whoa! Here, let me see. Let me just try setting it down. Oy. Oy. Okay. Still need some more sanding. Let me get a little bit coarser of some sandpaper. Not anything crazy coarse. Let's try 180. Because I don't want to go down to 120. I think that might be too coarse. Alright, so it takes some 180 grit, and we'll just go in here, just like this, and we'll get this cleaned up. Let's see. Ooh, it went in on one side, which is a problem. I don't want it to go in uneven. Man, that baby. Woo! Just keep going. We're getting there. Just gotta keep it going. So this is why you have to just be careful with your tolerances. This isn't that bad. I'm not that worried about doing this. Got PLA all over me now. Man, boy, that thing. Woo! That baby does not want to go in. I might have to tap it in with a hammer. Let's try it. We'll see. Hopefully we don't break anything, right? Shoo! Sorry, that was really loud. I tell you what, that baby ain't coming out. Phew, there it is. It's in there. So it didn't hurt anything. That's all good. That's why I sanded it down some to give me some working room. But I'll show you. So this goes like this. Hold on, I have the washers in the containers. I don't know if it's that one. I think it's that one. I mean, that one's so thin. So I'm pretty sure it's this one. He says it's like 1 millimeter. It's what that is. So we'll put that on there. Then it goes in like this. Just like that. See how it sits in there? Moves that inner part of the bearing. And then you will take... Oh, here it is. Take this piece. You'll use grub screws to connect these together. And then that's when you will attach your trim wheel. Which mine's not going to fit properly because I haven't cleaned it. Oh, there it goes. Actually, I just popped it in. So there you go. And so how this works, we're going to get all this together, will be just like this. Let me get my all thread. Oops. Let me show some. So just like this. Which, oh, I don't have that secured. But it'll go like this. See that? See how this outside, this wheel right here is moving? And then this will obviously move the trim wheel. But that's how this will work. Just like that. Sweet. First time I've seen it work like that too. So, really cool for me as well. So, let me push this back out of there. Oh, and this, by the way, so what you'll do is you'll line it up with your holes. Just like this. And then on this side, you will use... Nope, not that one. Oh, it's in the bin with the other parts for the lever. You'll use this. And this will go on here. You'll thread through your screws, and they should just screw into this plastic. You shouldn't need to, yeah, M4x12s. Flathead screws, the size will depend on the actual distance of the indicator in the wall. So right here and here is what you'll need to know. Place a nut to hold the system in place. Don't tighten, as this will cause friction. So what he means by that is this is where this will come out. I got to drill the hole out. Okay, but this is where this will come out. and you'll put a nut. Oh, sorry. This is where the 6mm all thread will come out, and you'll put a nut on there. Don't tighten it because you just want it to hold this stuff together for now. So that's what he means by that. So that's how his trim system works. It's honestly freaking genius. It's really genius how this works. Let me put this back in its container. This I don't think is anything. Oh, it's not. My goodness, it's support material. Good Lord. So I'm gonna set this aside as well because I don't need it. And we're gonna continue on with our walls. So I'll pop this out too. I'll leave it up there. So that's how this attaches. So remember to use 10mm grub screws. Don't let it go all the way through so your 6mm all thread can go through. Up at the top for this piece, I would say you could use 6mm grub screws in there because you're just going through really thin plastic on both of these. Whoops. So I would use that up there. I do have a M3 grub screw in here, which is my gear for my stepper motor. So actually I'll just go ahead and attach this. I put it all the way down. Ain't nothing wrong with that. He designed it for that. And then I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up. Oh, it ain't really tightening, is it? Nope. Might have to reprint this gear. Yeah, that's loose. So I'll probably have to reprint that. Yeah, it ain't even going to hold. So that's one thing you got to make sure with these grub screws. If you over tighten them, yeah, that hole's kind of messed up too. If you over tighten them, they won't hold. But it's fine for what we're doing. But that was the detent or the trim wheel system. Sorry. I know that's a huge thing, like I said, that a lot of people are having issues with. So I'm going to make sure that is definitely one of the main things that is like the first part of the timestamps so people can see it. But obviously we're still doing the whole thing. Move this out of the way. So this is done. See, that's the gear for the stepper motor. The stepper motor shelf, which is this, attaches to this wall right here. So you put it on there and use 2 M3 self-tapping screws. These are M3 by 10, I want to say. Yeah, M3 by 10 self-tapping screws. So we'll go ahead and we'll put these on. Because you need to put this on. You don't have to put the stepper motor in right now, but you at least need to put all these pieces together because you need to see what this is going to look like when it is together. You need to make sure your clearances are all good. So let me go ahead and I'll just screw this on real quick. Oh, sorry if you can't see that. Oh, hold on. These are kind of a pain. I need to drill these holes out really so that way they're not threading in. Actually, you know what? We're going to do that. We're just going to start drilling these holes out to make sure. Because this is a big part of it as well. You need to make sure all your holes are smooth. The only thing you don't want to drill out is the holes that you're screwing into like this. Which actually, this has bad elephant's foot. Let me clean this up. Again, not too worried about it being 100% perfect. I just wanted to get that elephant's foot off there because that'll cut your fingers up. So let me set that out of the way. Let me get my drill. Need to get my drill bits. I'm pretty sure I already put them up. And, oh, I'm missing a 3/16. Oh. There it is. Oh, that might be for my 4mm though. Let me double check. I try to keep these out for when I need them. No, that's way too big for that. But let me get just a regular 3mm. Let's do a 7/64. Yeah, you want it just a smidge bigger than the threads that you're using. Whoops, because otherwise you're just wasting your time using the drill, because you need it to create the hole so your screws go in and out nice and smooth. So now we'll see if our self-tapper just pushes through. It does. Whoops. Caught it with my belly. It does not. So we'll actually go up one. We'll go up to an 1/8. Whoop. Oh, it's right here. Thankfully it didn't run off on me. Sometimes I drop stuff out here in the garage and it's going to go all the way to this back wall over here. And it's going to sit there for a minute. Unless I really need it. Let's go straight. So you're just drilling out these holes. Make sure these are drilled out. All of the... Ah, my shoulder. Sorry. All of these are drilled out. Even this one. These two. And these over here. These holes up here you're not going to do because these are self-tappers as well. So you don't drill out holes where there's a self-tapper going through it. Only drill out the holes like right here. These holes. Because that's where your screws are going to go through. So through is fine. Boom. Just like that. That's what we wanted. So now when I screw this in, it won't catch these walls. It'll only catch the part that I want to screw into. Which that one's good. And then we will put this one on. Get it snug. Don't do anything crazy because again this is plastic. So that'll hold the stepper motor. I already have the screws in there. I'm not going to take them out to put it on because it adds a lot of weight. But this is how that's going to go. So it's just going to sit in there, obviously all the way up against it so it'll be nice and centered. But it just sits on there and comes through the wall right here. And that's how this stepper motor drives the whole system. So, really cool, really genius to use a stepper motor to do all this. So now what we're going to do is, since we're going to be moving on to the other walls and getting everything attached, we are going to put our M4 threaded rods in here in the bottom. You're going to do it while these walls are separated because it's a pain in the butt. You need a special 5.5 millimeter, nope, wrong, sorry, 7 millimeter wrench to get in there, and it's a pain in the butt. So I have mine in just up to the top of the nylon, up to the top of the nut. You'll just push these through, just like that, and just like that. So those will sit in there. Now we'll take our outer wall, which actually, you know what, I'm sorry, not yet, I apologize. We're going to take our potentiometer. So we're going to need one of these 10,000 K potentiometers. Take it out, take its washer off. You'll just set it in like this. It has two holes in case yours has one on the different spot, so he's got it perfect. So you just set it in there like that. Take your washer and then your nut and just screw, not crooked, but screw it on. And then for this, I think it's a 11. It's an 11 millimeter. Might be wrong. We're going to find out here in a second. It might be a 10. I think it's a 10. My bad. Yes, it is. It's a 10. 10 millimeter. And just tighten it by hand. Just like this. Just tighten it by hand. Oh, my phone turned itself. I apologize. You could still see stuff, thankfully. But you'll just take a 10 millimeter and turn that by hand because you're not trying to crank it through. Whoa. So that is that for this. Now we're going to attach the walls together. So you just lay it right up here. Make sure nothing's causing interference. Hold on. Nope, these bearings aren't touching, which is good. The glue is not touching. Okay, so this looks messed up because these walls are kind of warped, but it's fine. We're going to hold it all together here in a second. So for this, we'll just take our screws, our M3 by 10s. Oop, almost dropped it. You saw that? Oh, goodness. Oh, I keep putting it in the wrong spot. So we'll screw these in and connect these together. Get that one in. We put one up here. Whoa! He didn't want to go home. Put one up there. Get it going. Get it nice and snug. And then I'll put one over here for now. Again, these are temporary because I have to take everything apart to start soldering wires and stuff. We're just getting this together because we need to make sure mechanically it is going to work and it's not going to be messed up. Excuse me. So that's together. Now, we will take, I don't know if they're in here. Those are the big ones, which I will need. We're going to start working with our spacers. We're going to need these spacers that separate the throttle and stuff. That spacer. Sorry, making sure I have everything. That's trash. What is that? Oh, that's fine. All right, I need my smaller spacers. So these, I'll just go ahead and bring them all out for us. Sorry if this is loud, I apologize. Let me see. I think my other small spacers are down here. Got these spacers, and then these spacers. We don't need these other ones just yet. Okay. All right, y'all. There's a lot going on. So there's several spacers. Two of them are the same, which are these. They're the same because they just go right here on these ends. Which this is where your M6 threaded rods for the sides go. So again, I just put a regular nut on here. This is just temporary to hold this together for now. So I'm going to go ahead and put these spacers in. The thinner ones go on the outer walls, and the big ones go in the middle. Just like that. And then I'll get my other rod and another spacer. And just like that. So now these walls are together to an extent, right? And now we need to get our through rod. We need this piece, which goes in this big bearing. And then, oh, he does say to put this in, which we'll do that here in a second. That's called the transfer gear. And then we'll start working our way through the transfer gear, so the gearbox system over here. So, what is on the ground? Something blocking me from rolling. All right. So we'll attach this. We'll use 2 M3 by 6 millimeter grub screws. Oh, I messed up. I should have done this before I put these walls on. My bad. You know what, though? We're not going to do that because we're going to have to take this all apart anyway. So we're just going to leave it. So we'll ignore it for now because of the fact of how much we're going to have to take this apart to do the wiring and everything else. So it's easier just to honestly just ignore it for now. So let me set these back in here. Whoop. There we go. Alright, so like I said, we'll ignore that for now. Because we're going to start doing the gearbox stuff. We won't worry too much about the transfer piece just yet. Just because, like I said, we're going to take this apart. It's very simple to put it together, though. Like I said, you just take the gear, you put the 2 ounce, you put it in there, you put the 2 ounce screws in, and you just hold it. And that's all that does. It just holds that together to transfer the power from one side to the other. And so now we're going to go on to this, which is he calls mounting the gearbox. So we need to make sure we mechanically test everything before starting the electrical. That's what we're doing right now. So now that we have this together, we're going to put our spacers on, and we're going to put our first detent system on, and we're going to put our left gear lever on. Now, he does include videos with his product that are to show you how this is supposed to work, but I'll show you as well. So the way he says it is which side gets the bigger gear, which side gets the smaller one. Well, because this right side of the left lever is bigger, it's not going to get the bigger gear. You're going to put this smaller one on there that's almost the same size as this left side. So I'm going to put a nut on the end of this. I think I have an M6 nut around here. At least I thought I did, to put one on there to hold it in. Okay, apparently not. Well, it's alright. So we'll just put this in. We'll put our spacer on here. If you want to, you can also put your potentiometer gear on here. Just push it on all the way. Make sure it's not locked in one position. So I go all the way back, and then I'll bring it forward about that much. Then what I'm going to do is you're going to put your your detent system bearing carrier on these M4 screws. You just push it on, work it to line up, boom, just like that. It's lined up. The bearing part goes towards this wall. Then you're going to put your throttle lever on. And you kind of have to work this a little bit because you need to get the rubber in there. Oh, that one actually went in really good. Never mind. Normally you have to work it really good to get it in there, but this actually, because everything is flush this time that I'm putting it together, everything is working pretty good. There we go. So that's working. So you go back and then you lift up to go into reverse. Alright, so that works really good. Now what we're going to do, we're going to put this big spacer on the right side. This one goes on the right side of the left throttle lever, just like this. It's all going to start leaning this way. Now we put our big spacers in, I believe. Let me double check. We'll get our middle wall up here, and we'll find out here in a second. So if we put this on here, you just put it together. Put it together just like that. Let's bring these up. Which I'm doing this to see exactly which spacers I need. We'll put it all together. Yep, it's the big ones. And the way you can do that, or tell that, is when you do it, see that big old gap. So big spacers go there. So we'll take this off. We'll put our spacers on. Put our other spacer on. This will help us get rigidity and stuff to start getting more rigidity to this thing. Sorry, I'm making a lot of noise. There's a lot of tools and stuff needed for this big project. So we'll make sure that's sitting where it needs to sit. We'll put our wall back on, just like this. We'll get our 6mm lined up. And then we'll lean it back a little bit, kind of work the 4mm up in there. Maybe. You got to put a little bit of pressure on them because they're holding that detent system. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go get some 6mm nuts, and we're going to tighten these up, not crazy tight, and the 4mm. And we're going to do some testing just to make sure this left lever works before we move on. So we got the 6. Those are 3. Where's my 4? I think I have 4 out there, but we'll bring this kit. All right. Oh, I have some 4mm ones out here, it looks like. So I've got my 6s. We'll grab like 4 of these actually, because I need to put some on this middle rod, just so I can prevent it from going crazy. Which I don't know how much I'll need, so I'll just give myself a little extra. We'll just do like that. And so we'll tighten these up. This is just for testing, one side at a time until we get it all put together. This is just something I'm doing. You don't necessarily have to do this part. But I'm doing it because I want to make sure all my cuts were good and everything is together how it should be. So now we'll go down here. We will screw this in, maybe. Once it gets on there, it should kind of just go. There it goes. Gotta get it past the cuts. So we'll get this snugged up to get these walls flat too. And I'll probably put one on the middle as well. So just to get that nice and snug. Yeah, I'll put one on the middle as well, just to get it all nice and snug together so we can tell how everything is. Oh, it went so good until it caught there. There it goes. So we'll snug it up until the plastic's touching, because that's basically how it's going to sit. So now you're going to look in here. That looks good. We'll actually push it through. That's good. See, it's kind of stiff just because of how I don't have any lubricant in there right now. But see, that's working good. Woo! I don't see anything rubbing. You're going to look all around. If you have to, get a flashlight and look. But I don't see anything rubbing. So, something just hit me in the back of the neck. So we'll just do it again. Idle, reverse idle, max, reverse idle, and then idle. Yeah, it all looks good. And it's hard to tell, but here I'll show you. In there you can see the potentiometer gear doing its thing too, especially when we go into reverse. So that's all looking good too. All right, so that's looking great. So now we'll go ahead and take our nuts back off, and we'll start putting it. We'll put the middle. Oh, they have the middle one. My goodness. We'll put the right side on, and we'll see how all of that looks. Let me get this. Get these off. Sheesh. I have to clean these screws up some, or these all thread up some. The middle one works great. These ones kind of stubborn, aren't they? There we go. And now for this side, we're gonna put these spacers on. So like the half fat ones. We'll put those on because, like I said, the skinnier ones go on the outsides. So let me take this off. We put this on. Actually, I'm going to put these nuts back on here because we need to build the right side together. So we'll go ahead and put these back on just to help hold it together, so that way when I set it down on the ground, it's not going to start wanting to walk apart. Which sounds crazy, but it is what it is. Let me go ahead and get this on there. I'm not going to put the middle one back on. I'm not that worried about it. I have one on the left side. Let's get this on here. All right, so let me set this on the floor. And let's get the right walls and let's get them built. So, remember, my right walls are going to be different because I did put a lot of super glue in here. Not a lot, but I mean, I glued in all of the bearings and stuff. So, this is where the potentiometer goes. This is not where the, where is the, oh, I got the nut on there, so it won't click in. But that's where the potentiometer goes. Or, not the potentiometer, the rotary potentiometer. I think that's right, rotary potentiometer. Am I saying that wrong? Anyways, so that's where that goes. This potentiometer, this 10K potentiometer goes in here. Because again, this is for where it's going to contact with the gear for your move, or not the gear, the throttle lever for your movement. But again, this one I made flush with the inside. The outside I wasn't worried about because that's going to sit there with the middle. And then this one, you have to make sure this is the outside of the wall, wall 5. And these have to be flush with the outside wall. Because if they're not, it's going to cause interference with the trim gear and stuff out here. Remember, that's why we built this. It'll cause interference with this. It'll push it out too far and just cause it not to fit in your pedestal properly. So these are in. This is how these walls go. So this wall is the far right outside wall. It's just the opposite of the left wall. So let me grab all my gears for it. Again, you're going to need the drive shaft transfer gear. You're going to need the opposite side of the hex nut or hex bolt gear. You're going to need another one of these, another one of this gear, the potentiometer gear. We're not going to use this on this side because we don't need it, but we will grab this out because we're going to use it to put it together just for testing purposes. So again, these are basically all the same from the other side. So this one will be for this piece. So we'll get it, in here. And we will go back through the documentation. We'll see. I don't think he doesn't have the right wall in here. So we will go back to this page and we'll change it up. So the red gear doesn't go here on this side, it goes here. Because your blue gear in the picture is going to go right here. Your transfer gear is going to go over here on the left side. So we'll start with this. Since I already have it taken apart, we'll drop our bolt in here. It's already cut. I've already cut mine down. We'll put a washer on here. Excuse me. We'll push it in here. We'll put another washer on. See if this hot glue is going to interfere. Definitely. So we will take it out. And we'll get rid of this hot glue because it's going to cause problems. So that one's out. This one's going to cause problems too. That's out. The outside hot glue can stay. These inner hot glues are going to go because they're going to cause interference. So let me get all this hot glue out. There we go. So that way these can spin free for our testing and stuff. Like I said, I put super glue on the other side. It's not going to hurt nothing. See, I already put super glue on here. So these aren't going anywhere. Oops, I forgot to put the washer on. So now we'll put the washer on. We'll push it through. And then what made me take that hot glue off, oh my goodness, I don't know if I just did that all off camera. What made me take the hot glue off was because when I put this washer on, whoops. When I put this inside washer on, it was sitting on glue. And that's not going to work because it's just not going to allow it to sit how it needs to sit. So we'll put this on, and this one again, you can just use your hands for this gear. A little tight, there we go. A little tight. There we go, I like that. So that one's in. For this side, we will take another screw with a lock nut. For this one, I used this screw. I need to get another button head out. But this will be fine for this. So, again, screw, washer through here. Another washer on this side. Then you'll place the gear. This one, again, remember, is kind of a pain. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip it over. I'm going to use my tweezers. Ooh, let me not lose that. I'm going to put it inside and open them. Oop, and then let them close. And then hold it with your finger. And try to start it with your hand, which you should be able to get it started with your hand at least. There we go. And then tighten it up. Oops, don't spin it. Well, let's see. It came out, didn't it? Yep. Okay, hold on. So if it does that, just spin it. There we go, until it gets into a position, then pull it out, and then you can just tighten this down. Again, not anything crazy. Beautiful. Okay, so that gear's in. So now we're going to continue building this out. So, like I said, everything's kind of opposite now. So we're going to take this gear, not the double gear, the single gear with the concave in it. We're going to put our screw in. Which screw is it? The reason I'm saying that is I've got a lot of screws up here. So this one's got the washers on it and it's cut. So let me see it. It's probably this one. The reason these are cut is because they have to fit in here without causing interference. Let me go ahead and put this one in. Bloop. Yep, this is it. And then we'll put that on, and we'll put our nut on. Then again, washers between everything. That one's kind of being stubborn, so what we'll do is we'll take our ratchet and place it on there and just hold it. And then use our Allen key to snug that up. Perfect. Now we'll take our final gear for this side. Oops, sorry. We'll put it on. Here it is. Should be this screw. Take this screw, a washer again. Place it on there. Take another washer. And I think this one uses the nylock. No, it doesn't. It uses this nut. It uses just your regular M5 nut. My bad. And whoops. Hold on. These nuts are being kind of a pain in the butt. Go on there. There it goes. My bad. I almost cross-threaded it. So again, take your socket. Hold it on there. Take your Allen key. Just snug it up. Make sure it's not tight, which it's not, and it moves good. And that's how that goes for the right side. And then you can put your rotary, your 360 potentiometer in here. Take the washer off. So it only lines up one way, which it doesn't matter. This thing spins 360, right? So it's going to go in here. And hold on a second. Let me find its gear real quick. It should have its own little gear. Let me see. It might be in this container. No. Oh, I might be missing its. Might be missing its gear. Let me double check, y'all. Let me just go through here, right? There is somewhere in here where he talks about it. See what I'm saying about the spacers, though? That's how they go. I'll show you this, which I've already have those done. Uh-oh. He doesn't talk about the potentiometer. Yeah, I am missing a gear. Well, my bad, y'all. I'll have to go look at the documentation when we go to wire this up on how this goes. I apologize. We'll just skip this one for now. This is one of the... This is for the trim gear, or the trim wheels, to tell where the sim and stuff where it's at. So we'll put this one on, though. This is our 10K potentiometer for the levers. So I apologize about that. I think I am missing a gear, though, for that. So I'll have to find it as well, or print it if I accidentally threw it away. Again, so we'll take this, put our 10K potentiometer in there. Whoops. Sorry if I'm off camera. I'll come back. Put the washer in there. And then put our nut on there. And again, this uses just the 10 millimeter. Just get it hand tight. We're not trying to crank it down crazy. Just nice and snug with the hand. So that way it holds. We'll put our gear on there. Push it down. Again, what I like to do is, because it's going to go like this, is I'll take it all the way back and I'll bring it up a little bit. And then it's usually pretty lined up right there. So now we'll take these walls and put them back together, which is what these screws are for, M3x10s. Let me go ahead and screw it in. And I'm just going to use 3 again, because this is just for testing. So let me screw that in. Let me do the top one. And then we'll start putting this together on the rest of the system and do our final checks. And then once that is done, you can start painting, prepping, and all that stuff to ensure that you're ready to go. And we will work on the electronics after that, all the wiring and stuff. So I'll walk us through that. That one might not come very quick because it's going to take a while to get all that wired up and to film all that. But there we go. So this is perfectly put together. You can see where I drilled these holes out to make sure everything fits. So this is ready to go just like this. So this is where the lever's going to go. This is where your trim wheel is going to go. And we're going to put the walls together. Now this also uses, you also have to use your spacers for this as well. So let me see. These are a lot different though. Woo! Because these are so thin. It should be, I believe it's these 2 spacers. So you got this thin one and then you've got this really big one. So we'll start putting it together. Again, we'll just look through all this, because he does show us that. I'm not going to put the T-brackets on the wall just yet. I'll show you that, though, here in a second on the middle. Oh, he doesn't show us how to put the... Well, that's why we're here. All right, let's get our whole body up here. Our whole body. And we're going to start putting this baby together. And we'll figure out exactly which spacers are needed where. And you'll know pretty quick because it'll start screwing it up. It'll flare it out. It won't seal properly and stuff. It'll be a nightmare. So let me take this off. And let me take this off. And then we'll put all this together. So you're going to need your... You're going to need your detent system for the right side, which should go facing this way. Is that right? Or oh no, I have it the wrong way. My bad. I'm sorry. It goes facing this way. Just like that. Whoop. Then we'll put our spacer on here. I believe it's this thin one, which we'll find out here in a second if it is. We'll put this on here. Make sure it gets in there. So for this one, you are going to have to kind of work this detent system. One way you can do it is like this, just boom, like that. Push it all the way in and do it like that. Let's make sure these are all the way in. So, might have to lift this up to get it in. Let's see. Yeah, it's not wanting... See that? It's not... Whoops, sorry. See that? It's not wanting to go in because the bolt is touching. So we can't get this in to see if this spacer is good. I believe it is. So we'll peel this off and we'll look at this screw. We need to see exactly what we need to do. I believe we are going to have to cut this down to get it to fit. So let me go ahead and take it apart. We'll set that on. Oh, geez Louise. We'll set that on there and we'll get our 8mm. And we'll take this apart. Oh, hold on. I have my ratchet the wrong way. Here, I'll just use it. So it was touching, causing issues. Let's see if we flip it the other way, if it'll still cause issues. If it does, we have a problem. And that's not going to be good. That's going to put a pretty good pause on this video. Let's get that off. Get this off. Whoops. We'll pull this through. You're going to have to kind of lift up on it to get that out. And then we'll just completely flip it this way. Whoa. Don't do that like I just did, where you take the whole rod up. All right. Lift it up a little bit. Bring it forward. And there we go. We'll get it all the way through. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this nut on here first. Let's bring this back up. And let's see if this still causes an issue. Oh, jeez Louise. All right, let's see. Let's put it in here. So no. Oop. Oh. See how quick these spacers and stuff will come off? So now, yeah, that's sitting how we want it. So, I apologize to everybody that followed the first video that you have to put this in facing the outside or the right side. So if you're building it like this, this needs to face this way because it will cause interference if you don't. So I apologize to everybody in the first video for making that mistake. So that's on me. Let me get this back on. Again, don't tighten this too much. I just want to get it snug up to the rubber. There we go. Make sure this moves. And it does. All right. Let's get this back up here. Let's continue on this process of putting this together. Push that on. Make sure it's all the way in. Okay, they're not touching. So we should be good. So now let's get, oops, my bad. I went the wrong way. Let's get the outer wall on here after we put our black spacer on. So the thicker spacer goes on the right side. I need this piece just because it helps give it balance in there. Put the other M6s in here. And let's see how this all fits together. So, let me take my M6 nut. Jeez Louise, if I could put it on other than crooked. Alright. Just so we can get these tightened up. Bring everything together. Loosen it up just a little bit. And now let's go through the motions and make sure everything works. Climb, max continuous, full. Max continuous, climb, idle. The reverse idle is not as bumpy as I'd like it to be, but that's okay. And then full. And back idle. So, there it is. Reverse idle, reverse max, reverse idle, full. Yeah. That's working very, very well. So, that is the walls. Oops. Why is that coming apart now? Hold on. Something's not right. Oh, no, it's okay. It's just being weird. Because it's not all, buttoned up and screwed together. But it should be good. Let's make sure. Everything should be good. We'll put some screws down here too. Actually, you know what we'll do? We'll put all our spacers in. Let's just go ahead and basically completely build this. Other than the electronics. Hold on, these are kind of hard to get in, I'll tell you that. Sheesh. Oh, let me drop it out. My goodness. These spacers are a pain in the butt. There we go. Once I get that through, I tell you what, we're putting a nut on that real quick. How are we? There we go. Jeez. Hurry up and put a nut on there before it decides to fall off. All right. We'll get those snugged up. We'll flip it around. We'll do the same thing. Hopefully easier this time. Whoops. Let me use my tweezers to kind of move it. That one was easier. All right. So now, go ahead and tighten this up. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the threads now, so I know kind of where I'm at. All right. So we're still having an issue up here. What it is, this washer right here is too big. So it needs, I believe, one of these. So I'll show you what I mean. We're going to take it back apart, even though I just did all that. This is part of it because we need this. I need you guys to see how this is supposed to fit. So let me take this apart. Ooh, don't drop it. Take this apart. All right, and then we'll take this off. Just the outside walls. Just kind of work them to get them off. Maybe. Sheesh. Hold on. These all threads are kind of being a pain in the butt right now. There we go. Have to pull these out. This should come off nice and smooth. All right. So I'll set that to the side. Okay, yeah, this spacer's way too big. Oh, yep, this one goes right here. And the way I tell that is by putting it up there. See that? How it's basically matching? That's going to go there. So let's put the walls back on and let's make sure I'm right. Or let's see if I'm right. I should say not make sure. My goodness. A little egotistical on that, right? Let's make sure I'm right. Yeah, you see that? You see how that's nice and now connected? That's how this should be. This is how this should look. Oh, and you know what I'll do for you guys here in a second? I'll go back through and I'll give you the measurements of the wash, of the spacers, because yes, it is kind of a pain to try to remember. So that's how that should look. Nice and conformed all together. So, now that this is done, this is where you want to be. This is it for the build part as far as this goes. These are in the manual as well. These are very simple. I've already painted my buttons, and I ran some super long wires off of them because I don't know how far I'm going to need. But these just go in here, just like this. Let me tie mine together. Sorry if I'm really close to the camera. My thing kind of bent down. There we go. Let me see. Sorry, y'all. Hopefully, let me double check. Whoop. These are very tall. But this is how it should look. Just like this. So, we'll take the wires and these just push down gently through here. And they come all the way out at the bottom of this handle. They come out down here and here. And what you're doing is you'll feed those all the way through until this goes in. And there's a hole right here where these caps, which I'll show you. So this is the cap for the button. Obviously, it's got the bigger side. And it's also got a grub screw hole, whoops, as well. And so what you're going to do is you'll line these up, which I would suggest doing this before you start putting all this in. Line this up, put your grub screw in, then you'll push it all the way through with the wire, whoops, and then on the other side, you'll put this on with just an M4 by 10 or 12 screw, just like that. And then this sits in there, just like that. And it all looks really good when it's put together, which we'll get to that point eventually. Because we're gonna start putting stuff in here, getting it all wired up, getting these trim wheels finished and getting everything done. So right now, this is completely independent. None of this will spin together because we don't have our connecting shaft in here, which goes, whoops, I'll show you, I'll flip it forward, which connects these two pieces together. And then this connects the whole system together. Huh. Interesting that that's being like that. Huh. That screw is coming out. I might have to replace that nylock nut on there. So that's again why we're checking this stuff out. Like this one's fine. That's not loosening itself. This one is though. So we need to figure out why that is loosening itself. Is it touching something? It might be touching this wall. So we'll take it all apart, but I'm going to take it all apart just to show you guys the measurements for the spacers so you know exactly which ones you need to use. And you're not sitting there struggling trying to figure out what in the world goes where as far as spacers go. Now, I will give you a tip as well. You saw how earlier... Oh, that's that. You saw how earlier I had these walls separated to put these M4s in. Keep these walls separated. Keep these walls separated. Because you have to put the M4s and attach the nuts right here. right here on this wall. And so that's going to be a pain in the butt if you're sitting there trying to do that. Hold on, let me lift this up some more. I don't know why this thing is being so weird today. Oops, my bad. I'm trying to make sure you guys can see everything. There we go. So this is going to be a pain in the butt to try to feed your wrench in there and tighten like this. The M4 nuts. So keep these walls separated because they attach on the outside anyways. So you'll be fine. Let me set this down to the side because that wall's good. So for the right side, right spacer, the very right one, is going to be about 2 millimeters. So it's a 2 millimeter spacer for the very right side. I'm going to put that back in my bin. Take this off. Put it down here. Take the next one off. Which again, this side, the right side uses all small ones. This is a 4 millimeter or 3 millimeter bearing or spacer, I mean. So those are both the right side ones. We'll take this off, put it in its bin. Take off the middle spacers, which these can go down there. We'll take this wall off. And I'll show you guys here in a second where the T pieces go that connect into those. Then you got this giant spacer, which is a 18 millimeter spacer. So that's for the left side. I'm going to put it in my left bin. Whoa, almost fell over. Take this off, put it in its bin. And then this is the other spacer. This is the left spacer. And this is a 3 millimeter as well. Yeah, it's about a 3 millimeter one as well. So I know it has you print this one off. I don't think this one is correct. I have not used this one. Every time I try, it blows this whole thing out and just doesn't make it look good. So I've ignored that one. Let me put my other spacers up. And so I'll set this down. So these pieces go on your middle wall. The way you know which one goes where is based on this hump in there. It lines up with the hump right here. And so you'll put these on just like this, and that's where it'll hold your flap, not your flap, geez Louise, your top pieces for the markings and stuff. My goodness, I'm having brain farts all of a sudden. And where, your LEDs and stuff that'll go up here and all that. That's where all this will screw into. And this is where the outside pieces will screw into. I'm not going to screw them on right now. But you need to put heated inserts in here. And try to get them as flush as possible with the top of this plastic. They almost go all the way out the other side, but they don't. So they're nice and flush in there. And that's your middle wall. Now, he says to use this graphite powdered lubricant in here to enable it to move a lot smoother. So this is literally just like graphite powder, like a pencil, almost. Very close. You see that? And it just creates this little film that you can put on stuff. So it says shake dispenser, remove cap, puncture nozzle with pin, don't need to. Squeeze plastic bottle lightly for application. Use only on washable surfaces. Should not be used in ignition switches or other electrically actuated locks. So we're fine. Toxic, do not breathe, yada yada. It's just graphite, mineral ash, and quartz. You should be okay. I mean, obviously I wouldn't be like huffing this. But you're fine to use it in your environment. You shouldn't have any issues with it. But it's greaseless and odorless, and it guards against sticking, corrosion, and dirt buildup. So this is what you'll want to use. You'll just take some, put it in here on the bottom, and then just rub it in with your finger all the way around. I would wear gloves maybe, so you're not having to get all this on your hand. I mean, you see mine. I got to go wash them. I mean, that's how good that stuff spreads. But you just rub it in here, Rub it in all these grooves. I don't know if we're going to use it on the gears or on the backs of the gears, but it might not necessarily be a bad idea just to give something to prevent friction on the walls and to prevent these from wearing out and stuff. So it's not a bad idea. It's definitely something worth looking into or trying yourself. But that's it for part 2. Part 3 will be wiring, which that's why these aren't attached. These are for LEDs. These are LED guides to go around that sit underneath. Let me grab it. That sit underneath these wheels. Obviously, it doesn't touch, but it just sits underneath here. And when it moves, the lights, move around with it. Well, they don't move with it, but, it moves and it stays lit up. And then you'll have your other top piece, the black piece, that'll sit on the very top. That holds your LEDs for that as well. And stuff. See, that's where that light bar is, or these are. They mount on the outside with just, what's it called? With self-tapping screws, sorry. See the T-post goes with the arch. So those are good. And again, that's what I was talking about, the top panel. Mounts with M3 self-tapping screws into the middle frame. And that allows, this is where you're going to put your LEDs for the top. And we'll go through all that as we're going through building this thing together. I showed you the new trim gear. This, like I said, is very simple. You just use an 8.5 millimeter button. I did use a 5.8. So my bad, I should have used an 8.5. I did order some, but these are already built. I'm not going to change these. They work just fine. An 8.5 would be a lot better though, because these don't necessarily sit as flush like this. They're a little under, but that's okay. If I want, I might redo them. We'll see. Again, like he says, there's a certain point of it being aligned. When the wires go down and you kind of pull them tight, that's the alignment of that. It's not going to move past that. And then we went through this yesterday. And again, like I said, I apologize. He does show the bolts facing the insides, but for the right side, we just found out the bolt needs to face the outside. Otherwise, it'll cause interference in here. Which actually, you could probably put both bolts facing the outside. It'd have less chance of any interference. Wouldn't be a bad idea either. And that's it though, guys, for part 2. This is the walls, which is a big part of it. A lot of people are struggling, especially with this trim part. So now you guys know how this works as well. So thank you for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Have a good one.